Well, hello everyone. I'm Rachel Tessman from stampyourartout.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Andover, Minnesota in the US, and I'm here to bring you a live paper crafting class. We actually have 2 lives in a row. I saw that Debbie had a question about that. And yes, I'm doing a live right now, and then in an hour and 15 minutes, I'm going to go live again for a new product sneak peek reveal, show and share, showing the past cards that I've been receiving. It's just going to be a whole big fun show and share. So I hope that you can join me for that as well. All right, so yeah, grab some coffee, grab some breakfast, wherever you're at. Maybe you're grabbing dinner. Welcome, welcome. So today is, what is it today? What, Friday? It's Friday. Friday at 10 a.m. Central Time on Friday, May 22nd, 2026, as I'm coming to you live. We are going to be playing around with the new paper pumpkin kit. I have to admit, I have not had a lot of free time. I've had some things that have occupied my days this past week. And when I came home on Monday, it was just go, 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 trying to catch up. And I'll tell you, it's been busy. So even though it's Friday and you'd think I'd be caught up by now, I'm not. But I received my May 2026 Sparkling Celebrations Paper Pumpkin Kit. I believe I got it Tuesday night. So then I had a live on Wednesday, and then I tried to play around with it on Wednesday, and I finally got some time yesterday. So forgive me for not having a lot of projects today, but I did double the kit. This kit can be doubled. I can even see it being tripled or even quadrupled because there are so many pretty papers and elements to it. So if you are one of those people that are on board with me in liking to multiply your kits to get more cards, more bang for your buck, I should say, you're gonna enjoy today. Again, I'm just doubling it, but I'm kind of keeping the whole feeling of the card kit designs the way they are because I think they're pretty spectacular. So let's take a peek at this month's Paper Pumpkin Kit. This is the kit called Sparkling Celebrations. You can see the 3 different card designs, beautiful envelopes, all like designer paper through and through. So of course we're going to tear them apart and use them as paper. But you make 3 of 3 different kinds. That's typical for Paper Pumpkin. And all of these little layering elements, we can split up to make more cards, right? We don't have to just make 2. Plus, all the cards typically in Stampin' Up's kits have designs on the back and the front. So if you cut them down the middle and layer them onto plain cardstock, you've already doubled your cards, which is what we're gonna do, okay? It is a really pretty kit. Now, some people ask me, because years and years ago, Stampin' Up! Paper Pumpkin was in North America. Well, for many years, it was in North America only. We just went global recently, but for many years in the beginning, we were kind of focused on America rather than the US and Canada. And it was interesting because we actually had a 4th of July kit back in the day. So people are still asking me, when is Stampin' Up! Going to do another 4th of July Paper Pumpkin Kit? They're not. Stampin' this is global. So that's an American holiday. And so I don't think they're ever going to take Paper Pumpkin into Independence Day / 4th of July, but do you see there's 4th of July firework type things in here. So if you wanted to, you could make this into holiday cards for that upcoming holiday in the US. I am so excited. So let's take a peek inside the box. Oh, there's nothing in there. That's because Rachel took it all out. I've already played around with a 1/3 of the kit. I took that 1/3 of the kit, so you make 3 of 3 different kinds, right? So I took 1 set of cards for each of those 3, and I made the samples that you might see in the preview on the video. These are the supplies for a 1/3 of the kit. So you have card bases, and you can see they're back to back. You have designs on both sides. Same thing with this one. I mean, how can you not do something with that? And then we have a star type of base as well. The envelopes, like I said, designer paper through and through. And look at the beautiful flow from color to color, right? So You can see like sunsets in here. I believe one gal on showing an idea on the Paper Pumpkin fan club turned, I think it was Laura. She turned this into water and like sky. So like you could do all kinds of things with it, right? Okay, and then we have the elements that you would punch out of your sheets here. So we have the fireworks, we have the light, we have a window piece, and all of these, I didn't do anything with these, but these could go for pretty far too. Now our sentiments that come in the kit don't fit in these, but if you have smaller sentiments from either past kits, because Paper Pumpkin, we get a stamp set and an ink pad, non-consumable type stuff with every kit, right? That you can continue to use month after month after month if you want to. So that portion of the kit, don't throw that away. You can keep using that. So maybe a past Paper Pumpkin stamp set has fit into these little pieces here, or I'm sure you could find one because that's what Stampin' Up's all about. And then here's some sentiment labels for the actual cards for this kit. And then you have a sheet full of these. I've already punched out all but a third. This is what they look like fully on one sheet. So you've got your fireworks or burst. You could even turn this into like candle, like sparklers, like flames coming off of a candle. These are those paper lanterns that float up into the sky, right? And then you've got light bulbs. So it's all about lights. Sparkling celebrations. I'm going to stick this back into the box. Another thing that comes in your kit is, like I said, your ink spot, and then you get a stamp set. And my stamp set is on blocks now. So all of my stamps are assembled on there, but the stamp set itself is shown on the back side of the instruction sheet. So you can see all of the stamps that come with it. Here we have kind of like tops of trees or bushes, and then we have stars and what are they called? Fireworks. And a few sentiments. As you can see, they would not fit into those tiny little rectangles, but you could do something else with them. And then of course you have your direction sheet, ink, you have your adhesives. These are little mini dimensionals. This time we got tear and tape. Gotta love tear and tape. Tear and tape is so much easier to use than little tiny glue dots. And then your embellishments. And there are only 12 of them because they only fit inside those tiny little firework pieces, but you can add more embellishments to your kit. So what are we gonna do? Let's start creating. So Paper Pumpkin kits, what are they? They are basically everything that you need to create with in a box, and you get it monthly. It comes to your mailbox each month around the same time as everybody else gets theirs. And in the US, it's $29 plus tax, which still is a steal. We have the best value of creative kits out there. You have your paper pieces already cut and scored, but you can change them up, which is what I've been doing since day one, March of 2013, when Paper Pumpkin first started. So if you are interested, you can go to my website and you can go to the Paper Pumpkin drop-down menu and see past things that I've shared with every single Paper Pumpkin kit because I'm obsessed. Okay, so I've divided this third into all the 3 different cards, right? So these pieces you need to make 1 card, these you need to make 1 card, and these you need to make 1 card. We're gonna cut each of these down in half. And as I'm doing that, I just wanna let you know that I am not with Trisha today. Trisha, this is Friday. So Trisha Josephs is not hanging out with me today. She is my moderator on Wednesdays. She's here to answer questions on those days. But you can ask me questions and I can try to answer them. Okay, so if you have questions as we go, try to make your questions stand out. I do have my iPad in front of me, which is my camera here. And so I will try to pay attention to that. Oh, I'm gonna cut this way. I'll try to pay attention to the comments as they roll in so I can catch any kind of questions or anything that you have that I definitely need to answer. Okay, so what am I doing? I'm cutting all the card bases in half. So we're gonna do that with this set now. So I'm going to because this is 8.5 inches in this direction, I'm going to the 4 1/4 inch mark, which is exactly where that score line is. So all of these card bases come, as I said, pre-scored and ready to go if you wanna just fold them in half and follow the directions as is. For the envelopes, again, designer paper We're gonna trim off a 1/16 of an inch on all 3 of those sides. You can start on any side you wish, but what I like to do is cover up the dark part of the middle channel of my trimmer, and that brings it over just a 1/16 of an inch so that you can cut off just a sliver and open up that paper. Oh, Pink Lady Carol, hi. I love your YouTube name. That's awesome. And some of you are sharing about, you know, what you're doing right now, but the weather too. So Wednesday we had, oh my gosh, awesome, awesome weather. And today it's freezing. I opened the door because I wanted to have a little bit of cool breeze come in like I've been doing the last couple days. And oh my gosh, after like 10 minutes, the whole house was freezing and now we have the heat on. So in Minnesota here, it does not feel like the end of May, I'll tell you that. It's definitely chilly today. I don't even know what the temperature is, but it got cold in our house so fast. So I hope that you're all warm and cozy wherever you're at. This is great envelope DSP. I totally agree with you, Tina. Sometimes they're plain, like, or plainer type envelopes, but we really cashed in with this kit on designer paper, right? Here's our designer paper or pattern paper, whatever you want to call it. So we have our pieces pretty much cut and ready to go. We need to now take and make base cardstock, because what did we do? We cut up all the pieces in the kit and now we have to mount them onto something. So for that, I'm gonna open up my fresh new pack of basic black cardstock. I do it this way. I grab my plastic here and then I take my fingernail. Oh, maybe not. It's not gonna work now that I'm on camera. But I take my fingernail and here, see these little holes in here? They're little tiny holes. There you go. So if you kind of get your fingernail right underneath where those holes are on the plastic. I know it's not a glamorous way to open up cardstock, but it's typically pretty quick for me. That's the way I do it. You're gonna need 3 sheets, 1, 2, 3, and you get 24 in a pack. So this would go far. You can also buy the refill, by the way. If you are a fan and a subscriber of Paper Pumpkin, you can get what's called refill kits, where it comes with everything except the stamps and the ink. So then you're not buying things that you're not going to use, right? But you can purchase the refill kit and make more and more and more. So there's a way to make lots of cards too without feeling like you're throwing anything away that you don't need to. But I always like to see how far I can push a kit. Well, not always, but recently I've been doing this multiplying the kit thing. If you look at past Paper Pumpkin videos that I've done, I don't do that with every kit, but I have become obsessed and people are fans of multiplying kits right now. Like everybody's doing it. So yeah, that's what we're doing today. And I wish I had like a scrapbook page ready for you today, or fun fold cards, or 3D projects, or mini albums or something. But again, I only got so much time to create with this today. Or I should say yesterday. Okay, so now that we have all that cardstock cut and scored, and did you see what I did? I didn't even explain it, but I scored down the middle first. So if this was my cardstock, I scored at 4 1/4, and then I turned it and cut at 5 1/2 to get 6 card bases, because we're turning 3 into 6. It snowed in Breckenridge, Colorado. Is that higher elevations? My gosh, you know, it's supposed to be summer, isn't it? All right, when you have a card base like this, you obviously need insides. So that's where the pretty envelope paper came in, as we put some insides in there. Okay, so let's go ahead and do our first card. And our first one, I think we're gonna do it with the fireworks set of supplies. So let's start with these. And really, either one of these are pretty much the same. So I'm gonna go ahead and take one of them and add that to my card base. I didn't cut it down, so there's no worry about layering, but with the same size, you kind of have to stack it in front of you to get everything to line up, okay? That's the quickest, easiest way I know to add corner to corner, edge to edge, so that everything is like perfectly on top, right? There's our card base for number 1. And for number 2, we'll do the same thing. So let's go ahead and fold and score. What's everybody doing this weekend? Are you going to be enjoying, let's see, in the US we have a holiday weekend going on. Are you going to be enjoying it with family? Are you going to be visiting grave sites? It's Memorial Day weekend. Are you going to be vacationing? Are you going to be doing yard work? What's your plans for this weekend? Okay, so there's our other one. So you see how simple that is with the same size? All right, so for this one, we're gonna make it vertical and we're gonna make this one horizontal. So landscape, portrait, let's see here. And for our pieces, I mean, you could cut this into little tinier pieces, but I'm gonna go ahead and keep it intact, but I'm going to make it come off the top edge. So let's do that with dimensionals. And because the kit comes with mini dimensionals, but not a lot, and this is a pretty large piece, I'm gonna use, well, let's call them maxi dimensionals. They're the regular dimensionals. They're the larger size. So I'm gonna go ahead and use that and cover that pretty well with these adhesive pieces, like so. And then again, we're gonna make this come off the top of the card. Should I zoom in a bit? Maybe a little. Okay. Mini albums. Yes, I've done mini albums too, Susan. Oops, we're gonna go a little higher. We're gonna go about here. So I'm just using this edge to keep everything lined up because all of this is not straight, right? This is the only straight edge. And then up here, we're gonna flip it over and we're gonna use a new scissors. Da 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 da, the detailed scissors. It's debuting July. Oh, look at that. I put a dimensional where I didn't need one. It's debuting on July 1st. Okay, so you cut that as straight as you can. And if you want to, you can move your dimensional, but I'm gonna leave it. And then this piece here, actually it's still sticky, so let's just leave it as is. That's gonna come down here. So it just kind of makes a more filled in look in my mind instead of having it imbalanced and then trying to fit your words down low or too high or whatever. So now we've kind of made a border on the top and bottom of the card. All right, what are we going to use for the sentiment piece? Because all of these little pieces here are not the ones that I want to use. All right, so I'm going to make my own. I'm going to take the envelope flap and I'm going to cut along that score line now. And actually, you know what? Let's just cut this. No, let's cut along the score line. We'll cut along the score line first because that way we get it out of there anyways. We'll deal with the size of this in a minute. For this piece, I'm gonna make it 1 1/4 inches tall. So if that is hard for you to hold into your trimmer, which it could be hard for me too if I, it's a used one, hang on. Here's a little sticky note. So it's nice to grab sticky notes. Sticky notes are like crafters' dream tools, right? So you can just take and stick that on there and it'll hold, oh, hang on. We gotta get the stickiness on there. We had to move it down a little bit. Okay, so now that is held in place with the sticky note and we can trim it and we don't even have to use our left hand or our non-dominant hand. Okay, so now we have our sentiment piece and we're gonna cut that in half. Just eyeball it because this size doesn't have to be perfect either. So we have 2 different sentiment pieces that can be pretty tall. We're gonna use one for our first card that we're making and our second card that we're making. So I'm gonna bring those over here. Okay, now let's go ahead and stamp on this. We're gonna use one of the stamps from the kit. That's a 2-layered sentiment stamp. And I'm gonna bring in a larger ink pad if I can find it. Here it is. Marina Mist is the color ink spot that you get in your kit. And so I'm gonna be using the larger ink pad for ease. A baptism. Wow, that'll be fun. Making cards is your plan. Making cards. Oh, you guys, a flea market. Okay, so we got lots of fun stuff going on. Okay, so we're gonna stamp this and we're just gonna stamp it a little, I'm gonna put it on a pierce mat so you can see better. We're gonna stamp it so that it is closer to this straight edge with a nice size little border on the top, the bottom, the side, and then we're going to trim it up. Okay. So we don't have to make this any particular size. You can cut it to a rectangle first if you want to, or you can just stamp it on there and then take and trim it up in your trimmer. It's about 2 inches wide if you wanted to pre-cut first. And then this piece, because it's flimsier, I'm just going to tape it directly down onto my card. That way I have kind of like that look of up and down, kind of like depth and stuff. And then I can even slip it under this firework a bit. Let's move it so it's centered, left to right. And I think we'll stick it down right about there. All right, so there's one card. Oh, I have to do the middle. Hang on, the inside. So the inside, we'll take this piece now. And in fact, I'm gonna do that with all of my inside envelope pieces. So I'm just gonna grab those right now. I'm getting things mixed up over here. Hang on. Hang on. Okay, inside envelope pieces. 1, 2, 3. Let's see if we can do them all at once. So we want this width to be 3 1/4. So we're gonna go right to the 3 1/4 with the flat edges and trim. We'll get all those out of the way. And then we'll turn it and we'll trim about a 1/2 inch off one side. You can go a little over a 1/2 inch if you want to. And then all of these little inside sections are gonna come off too because they're not adhered there. Turn it over in this direction and cut at 4 1/2. Take that out of there. And then you might have a couple of, yep, there's a few more. So take those all out of there. And now you have layers for the insides of your cards. This one we're gonna stamp, and you can stamp it before or after because you know what? We're still gonna use the blue side. Whoops, making cards, yay! That's what happens when I touch my screen. I hit people's comments so they stand out. Misty Moonlight. Yes, that is the ink spot that came in the kit. Okay, we're stamping that down. There's our little firework for the inside of the card. Don't have to have an inside sentiment if you don't want to. Time to celebrate. And now you can make this into any kind of celebration. It can be for 4th of July if you're in the US. It could be for a birthday. It could be for anything that you're celebrating. Okay, job promotion, whatever, right? There's our first card. Let's move to the second one. The second one, we have this piece already layered on. The next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna steal from another pile. We're gonna take this guy and we're gonna add that. And I know it's not really good to have dark on dark, but we're gonna stand it up with dimensionals so it'll stand out a bit. And this time I'm using mini dimensionals that are black. The black dimensionals that you get can come in they come in a pack where you get mini and regular size. And so we'll add those. Because this is such a skinny piece, having black dimensionals makes them kind of like hide a bit more, right? So that nothing white is showing underneath there. Dark on dark. Okay, so there's that piece. And we're gonna place that about 2 inches from the, let's see here, did I trim it? I did not trim it. Okay, so about 2 inches from the right-hand side, like that. Okay, and then we're gonna add, we have that other, see this one here, we had that left over, and I purposely saved it for this card. You could add it to your other one. You know, you could place it somewhere over here if you want to, or over here, but I just wanted a little bit more color on this. I am adding all of these flat though. These are going on flat, so I'm gonna stick this in the upper corner, about a 1/2 inch away from the left edge. And then all of these are gonna go on with seal adhesive. Or what did the kit give us? It gave us tear and tape adhesive. Where did I put mine? So if you want to, you can take your tear and tape adhesive and use that instead for adding this, but seal is so easy, you guys. It's so easy and so quick. Once you get the hang of it, right? There's a little practice that goes with it. Checking my other one over here. Okay, so that's how I kind of distributed those on there. So everything's flat in the sky, but the light is standing out. Now let's grab this piece again that we took from our envelope, and we're going to stamp on that, but we're going to stamp on it this time with the flat edge to the right. Okay. Oh, are you asking what blues are in this? Let me tell you the colors in the kit. They list Blackberry Bliss, Coastal Cabana, Daffodil Delight, Hydrangea Hue, Melon Mambo, Misty Moonlight, Night of Navy, Pumpkin Pie, Black and Silver. But I could see Lost Lagoon in there too. I mean, you got a little of everything. But this here is Coastal Cabana, that bluish color out there. Okay, another time to celebrate card. Stamp that one, this time with the flat edge to the right. And then we're gonna trim it again. And when we trim it, I'm gonna go with a little bit more generous amount to this side because we're gonna cut it into a little banner. So we're gonna go about 1/8 of an inch in the middle. And then we're gonna go from corner to that spot and corner to that spot. And that's how we get our little banner cut without a punch. And you know what? I touched this before I should have. It smeared a little bit. The ink on, okay, it's not the ink. I have to tell you, it's not the ink, it's the paper. So the kit paper is a little more coated than our regular paper. Take more time to dry it. What I'll do is I'll probably replace this with another envelope piece. But for now, we're just gonna keep going. Let your ink dry a little bit more on the paper. In fact, I'm gonna show you when we do the bushes, my little tip for that too. Okay, so peel this away. We got dimensionals on our sentiment this time, and I'm loading it with a lot of them because I want this to stand up pretty well. And I'm tucking it under the light post, the lamp post. And is it looking centered? We may have to trim it a bit. I'm gonna trim it a bit. Okay, because I want this to be more centered. Oh my goodness, Rachel, you really needed to let that dry. All right, well, you got the idea. So there's that. And then we're gonna grab the embellishments. Where did I put those? Oh, here they are. So the embellishments that came with the kit, again, there were only 3 little places where it goes in this kit. They didn't give you a ton of them. So you can go out and get your own embellishments. Rhinestones would look perfect on this because a lot of the accenting in the stars and all that are silver. And these are a little bit higher than rhinestones. They're a little bit taller. So if you want a flatter, low profile type of embellishment, rhinestones would be great. It's not sticking. Hang on. Okay, there's that one. And there's that one. Okay, so there's that finished card, except for the inside. I keep forgetting the insides. Let me move this over here. For the inside, we used the remainder of the envelope, and I'm just trimming it down to that 4 by 5 1/4 inch size. You can decide if you want more dark blue or more light blue. We're just gonna cut it to 4 by 5 1/4. Okay, got a lot of little tiny envelope shreds there. So this layer in here is going to fit perfectly. It's going to fit perfectly inside the card. You don't like the string of lights? I'm going to check that out. Let me read your comment in just a minute. I'm doing dark to light going down, so it looks more like, I don't know, like the city lights are glowing. Canada celebrates fireworks on Canada Day. Thank you, Judith. Yes, I knew that there was another holiday around there, but it was pretty much like all about that kit back then. It just seemed very American. So I think that's why they moved that out of there. But other countries, now that it's global, they're not doing that at all, I don't believe. I don't like the string of lights and the way they added the light bulbs to the light post. And who are we inviting in the saying in the kit? Yeah, so there's an invitation stamp too. Did you see that, you guys? So I didn't do any "you're invited" for this, but this is a very party-oriented type of kit. And if we didn't do one of these, probably people would say, when are we gonna have a kit that we can use for an invitation to a celebration? So, and this is the time of year where a lot of people do have celebrations, at least in the Northern Hemisphere, because the weather is getting nicer. So graduations, gosh, graduations are huge this time of year. I'm trying to think. Sometimes people retire this time of year. Sometimes people, take and do summer parties. So this is an appropriate design for invitation type of things. So I'm glad that they have this in here, but you're limited on the other two. Wishing you happiness, time to celebrate. They're general though, but there's not a lot of sentiment choices. So I do agree with you on that. But you can pull from other stamp sets, right? So here's another time to celebrate with a piece that I need to replace. And then I'm gonna put that over here. And I don't think I stamped anything on the inside of that. Oh, I did. I put another fireworks on the inside. So we will ink up our fireworks again and stamp that. And you know what would have been cool is doing the fireworks up in the dark area and kind of like random up there, but I didn't do it on this one and I forgot to, and I didn't do it on my sample one. Next card. Now we're gonna move to the String of Lights card, okay? Wink of Stella would be pretty. Yes, you could add that in there. Glitter. Hello, this is definitely all about glowing and shining and okay, there's the front of it. So let's take our light, String of Light bases here. And this one obviously is going to be horizontal landscape. And then our other one is, hang on a minute. Our other one, we're actually not using this for the base. I was going to, but we're gonna set that aside, just like we've set this aside for now. We'll put those over there. And we're gonna grab the envelope for this second one instead. And we're gonna cut off one side so it's nice and straight. Okay, we have a nice straight side over here. We're going to now cut at, and I think I'm gonna flip it over to do it, 4 1/4 inches. And then we're gonna cut from the bottom, the straight edge, 5 1/2. Okay, so now we have a layer that is going to fit on our second card that's gonna be vertical. So let's add that in. And you guys would do a better job at putting adhesive on, but I'm going quick because we're making 6 cards. And I also have another live that I'm doing after this. Okay, and because this one isn't stiff, I am gonna add it slowly. So we're gonna just go corner to corner. I'm not doing that trick where we just kind of like tap them together. Okay, so that's ready. These 2 pieces here, we're gonna set them aside. I don't believe we even use them. And then I'm bringing these 2 over, I think. Let me look. Yes, so these 2, one from one envelope and one from the other envelope, these are gonna be our inside pieces. And for those, I did stamp the word happiness on the inside of one. So let me grab the stamp. I double mounted, you guys. I'm gonna grab the one that says happiness and we're gonna ink that up, just the word happiness. You could put tape over the rest of this and then peel the tape away if you're nervous about getting just one portion of the stamp inked up. And we're gonna stamp that in a landscape fashion here. Okay, now we have just the word happiness in there. We're gonna bring in some cleaning tools and get our stamp cleaned off. Scrub, 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 dry, dry, dry. Okay, and then stamp it on your grid paper just to make sure it's clean. Next, we're gonna stamp wishing you, and that's gonna be on the little banner piece that we have here, our sentiment strip. So I'm just inking up the words wishing you. Do you see that, you guys? I have a piece of scrap on my pad. Wishing you, and I have that off, ooh, that's out of camera range. I have that off to the right so that I have my left area a little bit more exposed. And let's just clean that up really quick. Scrub and dry. So if you've never done masking before, it's really easy, especially with a stamp that's easy to separate like that. There we go. That is now out of here. Okay, next. These two are gonna go with this card. This one's gonna go with this one. I do have some light bulbs I wanna use. Those will go here. We'll keep these with the other cards. Okay, next. So let's go ahead and put together our card that is landscape. This one here. I'm gonna grab an extra piece of grid paper because I wanna use my cushion, my Stampin' Pierce mat, for a little bit of cushioning. Since we have a very, very solid stamp that we're using on this one, we're using the tree. Oh, it's better if you see it this way. We're using that tree or bush image. So we're gonna ink that up. And when you stamp this, if you have a non-even surface, surface that's bumpy or whatever, it's gonna make it difficult. So that's why the Stampin' Pierce mat is awesome. Okay, blue trees. Yes, let's just stamp them down and see what happens. When you were looking at the directions, those of you that are, you're getting a Disney Rapunzel vibe from these. When you were playing with your kits, those of you that have it, were you looking at the directions going, how'd they get the green ink? Oh my gosh. Okay, Rachel's gonna get messy today, I guess. Well, did you know that when you stamp blue ink onto yellow paper, it picks up some of the coloring of the paper underneath and makes it green. Let's see, where'd that ink go to? I don't know if it's on my hands or not. So it's starting to kind of take on a green hue. And you see the darker areas on here? There are areas that are like double inked because we layered images. And because of that, it's gonna make it even harder to dry. So I'm just gonna take, and I would recommend actually tissue paper that's, or Kleenex that is not the puffs with lotion, but that's all I have in front of me. Maybe use like paper towel or something, but you're just gonna come in here and give it a little blotting, right? See how that's taking some of the ink off of the surface? Because again, this cardstock is not as porous and it has more of a coated surface to it. So it's gonna either take lots more time to dry on there or, and now we're gonna go ahead and blot it, or you can do this trick. And it takes care of it fairly quickly so you can touch it pretty soon. You see how it's still shiny? I'm not gonna actually touch that until it's dry. But there's that. The other piece that is on this one here, I'm gonna do something similar to that, but I'm going to use a piece in the kit as a guide. So we're gonna take this piece, and that was actually from the other card, but I'm gonna lay it right next to it here. And it's going to now become part of this card instead. So we're stealing the window from the third card and we're gonna bring it into this one. Because remember, we're not using this. We could have had just like a little starlight kind of look there. There are these faint lines going through there. So if somebody was looking closely, they'd be like, what is someone flying a kite in the night sky? So we're not using that as is, or as the rest of them are being used, but we're using the envelope layer. And because this window, this is what this is a window, is about an inch up from the bottom, when we add our trees, because we're gonna do that on this layer, we're gonna add them about an inch from the bottom. And you know what, I think, no, I kind of like the way I did it. So about an inch up from the bottom and about a half of an inch from the side. Can you see that? So I'm about a half an inch from the side, about an inch from the bottom, because this is about an inch up to here. And then we have enough where once the card is open, it will hopefully cover up everything. Okay, we're gonna stamp that there. and do the next one. Let's just check it, Rachel. Shall we check it? So these windows open up. Look at that. Rachel has more blue ink on her. It's non-toxic. Just lick your fingers. Hang on. Okay, now let's lay this on here. Oh, good. We're safe. The bottom of the tree is right there though. So maybe I should have gone a little lower, maybe 3/4 of an inch. But we're good. So I'm gonna stamp another one about the same place, maybe a little lower. So we have a couple different bushes or trees showing through the window. We'll grab that tissue. Here it is. And we'll do a little bit of blotting again. And see how it's smearing down here? Because I'm not worried about that area. So if you want to, you can just take and add some greenery down there. Okay, so that is gonna dry. And that one's gonna go with the window. When you bend the window, you kind of have to like get in there with both fingers on one side. Another thing you could do is maybe grab the bone folder tool and press against it, because it's a really fragile piece there, and you don't want to open it up all the way. You just want to open it enough where you get an open window look, okay? It'll flatten down when you mail it, and when you pop it out of the envelope, it looks like that. So let's go back to this one. Let's finish this one up. The outside of this one is going to get the wishing you sentiment, and we're going to put that onto dimensionals. So let me grab those again. Deer flies, horse flies. What are you guys talking about now? It's so fun to read what you guys write. I think I just put them in 3 spots here. I did. Okay, so I have regular size dimensionals, but again, the kit comes with mini dimensionals. If that's all you have, you can use mini dimensionals. You guys are talking about how to avoid mosquitoes biting you. Oh, I'm loving this. Eating pickles? Seriously? Oh, that's kind of cool. I'm gonna eat more pickles. Make sure if you're eating pickles though, you guys, it's the fermented, right? Don't just buy any pickles. Buy the ones that are good for you, probiotic type pickles. Okay, we're gonna come down. There is a light bulb on the left side here, and you're gonna go about an eighth of an inch below that. That should give you plenty of room for your hanging light bulbs, which I also think were kind of weird going off of the lamp post because they're all different sizes. So on this one, it seems a little bit more realistic to have light bulbs coming off the sentiment strip, because the sentiment strip can be any size, right? So we're going to use the mini ones now, and we'll place dimensionals underneath the top and bottom. And on this one, I think we'll just do it on the bottom portion, peel off the backings. If you don't have fingernails like I do, you can take and use the take your pick tool or the scissors tip to help get the backings off. I still have ink on my fingers. Okay, and this one's gonna go next to the small one. The small one's off to the left, and it's gonna be tucked under, but the big one is gonna overlap a bit, like that. Okay, and then this one will go to the right of it and tuck under and stick out like that. So this looks more like in the foreground because it's not attached to a lamppost that's super small compared to the light bulbs. It just makes more sense to me to have it attached to something like that instead. All right, so there's that card, and the inside of that has the word happiness, so wishing you happiness. And then the second card is going to get the window. And for the window, we're going to turn it over, and we're going to add large and small dimensionals. Actually, you know what we could do is we could take and cut some of these. And look at that. Rachel is just getting ink smudges everywhere. And then, oh, there's some right there. Let your cardstock dry. You guys, I did these much slower when I put these together yesterday, okay? All right, we're gonna put a couple here, and then we're gonna use these skinny ones because I trimmed down a few of these. So I'll put a skinny one there, and I think that's good. That's probably good. I'm not putting ones down here because we're gonna have a sentiment piece down there and I don't wanna compete with the dimensionals that are gonna overlay in that area. It'll still pop up evenly, but you know, still stick out as much, but we don't have to have that double layered dimensional feel where it makes it bulkier in an envelope. So this goes down like that. Yeah, Laura Secchi was the one, now that I'm remembering. And she used this piece, but she flipped it around the other way and she put a boat on the water. So this was the water. She put a boat on there. It was so cute. It was a die cut boat from, I want to say Scenic Coast. I think it was the Scenic Coast dies. Okay, for this one, we just have the blank on the inside, the blank piece, but you could put stars in there. You could put whatever. You could put another sentiment on the inside. Okay, so there's that. Plus we need a sentiment on the front. And for the front of this card, we're gonna use this piece that's meant to go with the window. It's like a little windowsill. And we need to stamp on that first with our sentiment. We're gonna choose that same sentiment, wishing you happiness. This time we're gonna ink up the whole thing, stamp it down. It's a skinny little piece, but it does fit. There we go. Flip that over and dimensionals. I love this. I'm gonna have to read through all of the comments because you guys are giving advice on bugs for the summer, it sounds like. The dimensionals that I'm putting on here are going to be closer together because remember I have dimensionals here and here. So I want my dimensionals to sit more here on this piece so that it's still one dimensional layer thick. An open ink pad makes you nervous. I'm so sorry, Debbie. Should I shove it over there? Yeah, I know. In a class setting, do not have an open ink pad. Close them up every time, right? So there is that card, wishing you happiness. You could put like little birds in there or something, or I don't know. You could, I don't know. You could put anything in there, but I'm trying to use just the kit supplies and very few extra products. I don't typically bring in dies. I don't typically bring in other images from stamp sets when I'm doing multiplying the kit because I want the multiplying the kit thing to be very affordable for everybody. Thank you, Debbie. I appreciate that. All right, last two. So let me set these sample ones aside. Oh, and I do want to show you this. Sorry, I should have shown you this when I was making this card. Do you see this paper? Gorgeous paper. It's so pretty. Look at this, and it even shines. We're featuring the Scenic Coast, by the way, for our All-Star video class that's going to release in June, and you are going to love the projects that we are making. Let me show you this window piece again. I'm going to pop these pieces out real quickly, if you don't mind, because I should have done this earlier. But this paper, if you were going to put anything in the window that is from a different outside the kit, whatever, this paper is incredible. I mean, who doesn't want to look out their window at the sunrise above an ocean, right? So let me just show you just with this paper, because there's a whole bunch of them in the pack. I think you get 8 different designs, but I'm running out of it soon. I mean, look at that. Don't you just want to sing opera when you're seeing that? And then if you pop it with dimensional, it really looks realistic because it's further out in the distance. So Scenic Coast paper, I put that in the supply list too. By the way, the supplies are listed in the description of the video, except I keep forgetting to add this in there. And here's the difference between stamping the Misty Moonlight onto the yellow paper versus just on white. So it does take on a green look. Really cool. Okay. The last 2 cards are pretty similar because this paper, this cardstock cut in half, is very similar. I mean, look at that, right? So we're gonna take and do one more set of trimming with our paper trimmer because we wanna make some more sentiment strips. This sentiment strip here, or sentiment piece, this is the 3rd one and I didn't use it. I'm not using it because the time to celebrate doesn't fit in there very well in my mind. It's like the scallop part is too close to it. To the words. So I'm not using that on these cards. I'm going to save it for something else. This piece here, we're going to use on, actually, I think I should have used it. Hang on. Oh yeah, this is where I meant to use it. See this card? That's where it was supposed to go, on the inside. I didn't do it. So I'm setting that aside, using it for something else now. But that's what you should have done. You also have these scraps, so you could use this too, but either way, we're gonna cut our flap to 4 inches. Actually, I think I cut it taller than that. And then we're gonna cut this in half at about 2 3/4, but a little over. Okay, so now we have 2 pieces that go on the inside of our last 2 cards. Because remember, we got rid of that other piece, that envelope piece, for our last card with the window. But for this, we can do some trimming again. Let me grab my sticky note. And we're going to add our sticky note here and just put that into our trimmer so that our score line gets cut off. And then we're going to stick it over on this side where the licking part of the envelope is. And we're going to trim 2 pieces that are 3/4 of an inch tall. So one, actually, you know what I think? I think I didn't make them 3/4 of an inch. I made them 5/8 of an inch. So let's do this. Let's trim off 1/8. We can do it. We've got the skill with the sticky note. Is it on there right? Okay, there's our 5/8, it's a little tilted. And then our other piece, 5/8. So it's just under 3/4. Okay, and we do have a little bit of envelope glue on the ends there, but we're not using the whole thing. We're gonna stamp directly in the middle of these. And we'll grab that handy tool that I always forget to put in the supply list, the Stampin' Pierce mat. We'll place that down here. And guess what sentiment we're gonna use? Not the "you're invited," because we're not making invitations. So we're just gonna do lots of wishing you happiness, time to celebrate cards. Again, you can grab stamps from other stamp sets, from past Paper Pumpkin stamp sets, but we're gonna stamp these words smack dab in the middle of these 2 white sides of the envelope, white layers. So we're making our own sentiment pieces from these strips of the envelope. There's the back side. Okay, we're almost done. Let's go ahead and fold our last remaining card bases. Remember, you're gonna need extra envelopes, so you can grab up the basic white medium envelopes for these cards. Let's fold. Some of you may have noticed, and I don't know if I mentioned this, but when I look at my folded card base, I always check. And if you can see 2 edges from one side, that's the back. This one's really folded well, though. I could pick either side for that one. Okay, so now we have the fronts of our cards. We're going to turn them this way because they both have a direction to them. And we'll do that same quick approach where we tape, 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 stack, and adhere. And then the same thing on this one. Card making can be fast. There's that one. These 2 go on the inside, and this is where I didn't stamp anything. These were just stuck down. Okay, so at this point, I want you to chime in. What types of projects would you make with this kit? What kind of things do you see with this kit? And I'll read through the comments and I'll see if I can do that for alternates in the future set of alternate projects, because I'm going to create again. This is not all that I have to share with you. I have much more. All right, we have lamps. And there is one that fits this bigger lamp a little bit better. As you can see, it has a lot more room. So we're going to stick this one here with dimensionals, give it some depth. And then the other ones, we're going to stick on this piece. 1, 2. That maybe should have gotten a mini dimensional, but it'll work. Or a black dimensional, again, to make it darker, but let's take our fingernail and push it in. So we're going to stick one here and one here. And then these pieces here. Oh, I forgot to do my trees along the bottom. But you know how to stamp the trees, so I will show you the finished cards. How does that sound? Because we are already at the top of the hour. So I'm going to set these aside, bring in the finished cards. You know, sometimes we do like 12 projects in an hour. Rachel went slow today and only got 4 barbecue party invitations or thank yous. Oh, I love that. Summer birthday party, summer birthdays. Yes. Love it, love it, love it. At this point, I'm also going to say to you, do you have questions? Because we are near the end of the video. And is there a question that you asked that I didn't catch as I would look up from time to time? The 250th celebration of the USA. Yes, it is that year, isn't it? I remember the bicentennial when I was a little kid, because I'm older than 50. We actually had tiles that were put into our kitchen that were bicentennial tiles. I mean, it was so huge. It was a huge deal to celebrate the 200th birthday of the US as we know it. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and shove these things over here, and we'll bring in all the finished cards so you can see them all together. So you still have the same look, right? Where's that flyer again? Here it is. It's a very similar look, but just spread out, doubled, okay? This one, obviously, I mean, lamps, hello, just need to see all of them. You can't cover them up with a window, and you can't take and just have some on the backside. So that window needed to go somewhere else. That was the only one that bugged me a little bit. I'm like, why are they covering up all of that? That's so pretty. So there we go. We've opened up our paper lanterns, let them fly freer. Our window is now looking out onto a beautiful sunrise morning. We don't have our lamp post connected to a really, really large light bulb. So those are my versions of the cards, and I have doubled the cards in the kit. I will do some of your ideas that you have. Oh, paper pumpkin dies. Thank you for bringing that up. Who was that? Barbara. I did mention those in the supply list just because I try to mention the coordinating dies for all the kits, even if I don't use them in my alternates. Now, why does Rachel not typically use them? I do, but not all the time, and it's because it's die cutting. And for my Paper Pumpkin subscribers, I don't want them to feel like they have to own a Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, all the big tools. Like, you don't have to have a craft room to create with Paper Pumpkin. To create alternates, you don't even need all of this stuff, but you can. So if you're like me and you have that stuff, get the dies, right? We have a signpost. We have a fireworks in here, butterflies, flowers, the word wonderful. And then when you die cut them, you get this kind of imagery, just so you know. So the question was, how do I store my Paper Pumpkin dies? Right now, I have them in a little stacked area in my cupboard because I have my Paper Pumpkin stuff set separately from the rest of my things, because once they're gone and retired, I don't use them in my videos. I don't want to cause frustration with my viewers. If you can't buy it, you can't buy it, right? But I do like to hang on to my stuff. So I have a separate little area in the back. In fact, you can probably see it. It's underneath that sign that says "Think Outside the Box" up there. So my Paper Pumpkin box, Think Outside the Box. These are all past stamp sets in the 6x8 albums. And then I have a little shelf, and it's down here. And this is where I keep my dies. They're all, here, I'll show you in the video here. They're all stacked inside this container from Stampin' Storage. I even have extra blocks in there. My extra blocks in case I'm going to donate one of my kits to the Children's Hospital again, that kind of thing, or donate it to like a silent auction fundraiser. So yeah, that's all Paper Pumpkin stuff basically in that area. But you could store them the way you store your other dies, right? Just put them on magnetic sheets or put them in a little container. Okay. Hope that answered your question, Barbara. I'm guessing you were just wondering what I do. But people can chime in and say what they do too. Any other questions that I might be missing? That was fun. So, website, let me take you there. We're gonna go to the computer, if that's okay with you guys. And I'm just gonna go into an incognito so I'm not logged in. And this is what you would see if you go to my website at stampyourartout.com. And if you scroll, you can see that there's drop-down menus up here, but also going into an actual blog post, either clicking on the picture or the title will bring you to an actual blog post. Let's just click here. Pretty Party Kits Collection. Okay, that was something that I shared recently. If you go to the top, see this? This is the drop-down menu I was talking about. Here's the Paper Pumpkin one. You can sign up to be a Paper Pumpkin subscriber through me. You can also click on the link that's in the description of my video. When you subscribe through me, you get alternates that are exclusive. We're working on them right now, and I cannot wait to show you. And then those alternates are also available for purchase. So if you aren't a subscriber through me because you subscribe through maybe your friend or someone else that you know who's a demonstrator, or maybe you're a demonstrator yourself, you still can have access to those. Let's see here. Learn more about Paper Pumpkin. Recent posts, older posts. This will take you back to the beginning. Pins on Pinterest, stamp set case inserts, which they have discontinued. These are all from Stampin' Up, but I do have a collection there. I'm going to turn that area into just a visual reference area because someone suggested that and I love that idea. So eventually those little pictures won't link to anything, but just know that you can go there to see the images of the stamp sets. And then of course the fan club, you want to be a part of that. I'm going to go over here to shop, go down to tutorials, because I want to show you before I head away from here that this is the area where you would purchase the past Paper Pumpkin exclusives that my group creates. And you get peeks of them when you're looking at this image, and then you can take and add it to the cart and purchase the alternates that way. What else do I want to tell you about? The refill kit is available. So if you want to get the refill kit, you can purchase that. You have to be a subscriber though, in order to get anything Paper Pumpkin related. So just get a subscription started, you guys. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. Okay. The kit, the starter kit. There's a whole different kit that I'm talking about now, and that is the starter kit. If you want to be on the demonstrator side of things and get discounts, so that you can pre-order like I have done and get discounts and have lots of fun like that, then get the starter kit and get it this month, because this month they're having an extra fun special where you can get the new in color ink pads for free. It's a $63 value with the starter kit. I will be talking about that a little bit more in my next video, which will start in about 10 minutes. So I need to sign off, but there is a link for joining in the description of this video. I hope that you come back in about 10 minutes though. Go to the bathroom, go get something to eat, and come back. Trouble finding the Google Calendar? Yes, you go to the description of the video. Have you found the description of the video, Denise? Every video description that I do, that I have with my videos, it has a link to the calendar. So just go to that description and there is the calendar right there. How do they come up with the name Paper Pumpkin? So confusing to you? That's a great question too. It has to do with Cinderella riding off in the pumpkin coach. Basically, it takes you away and you get to be creative for a while and be in La La Land. And it's, you know, it's like the fun 30 minutes of creativity instead of the fun 30 minutes of being at a ball dancing. I hope that makes sense. So, all right. Well, that's it, everybody. I hope that you had fun. I hope you got some creative inspiration. And now I'd like you all to go and stamp your art out. Bye-bye.